Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Crop Progress Update. It's good to be back here again today, and we've got a few relevant topics here that I think we definitely want to talk about. We know that there are beans being taken off in central Indiana and across parts of the Corn Belt here. And I think with that, we need to talk about the wheat dynamic and looking forward and looking ahead to maybe planting some of this wheat here over the next month or so. And then how we're going to go about marketing that wheat that we do get planted. So if you want to kick us off, Dave, a little bit, just tell us kind of what you're seeing out there in the field.
Yeah, so like you said, the beans are coming off, pretty decent yields, what I've been hearing. It was awful dry, and so the ground was very hard. Now we're getting some moisture back in the ground, so planting wheat's definitely an option right now. We are well past the fly-free date for our southern area, Indiana and South. So it's a great time to plant wheat. If you're the population of wheat, we need to remind our clients to plant 1.7 million seeds per acre. That'll ensure a nice, good stand of wheat, and it'll also help with the weed control out there. Speaking about weed control, we need to keep vigilant scouting it this fall, so some of the winter annuals don't smother our wheat. We can always come in with some fall herbicides and take care of them. For fertility wise, I always like to put 100 pounds of ammonium sulfate, 100 pounds of MAP or DAP, and then 100 pounds of potash out there with some zinc. That'll give it a nice good kick in the fall and make it tiller out nicely in the winter time. In some of our areas, we like to put starter on the wheat, so 10 to 12 gallon of our season pass with microcarb, Z&B, works extremely well. There's some diseases that we need to keep an eye out. Insects usually vector these diseases in the fall, so if we control the cherry aphid population out there, that's a good way to control the diseases. But I think it's going to be a really good year to put wheat out this fall. We've got a nice fall. Beans seem to be coming off on a timely manner. So, yeah, get out there and plant some wheat.
We've gotten some moisture here over the last couple weeks, especially here in northwest Ohio. I think for some of the prevent planted ground that didn't get anything planted there and didn't get any cover crops put in, I think this is an opportunity to
that's another
put some wheat
great
in
place.
here in our neck of the woods. For sure.
What's the prices or contracts that you could get?
You know, I mean, right now, you look at next year's wheat. I mean, we're looking at just above $5 right now from a futures perspective on the July 20 contract. I mean, there's a couple different ways you can go about it. I mean, if you're one that likes to play the market a little bit or take it from the short side of the market, I mean, I think you could look at maybe selling some calls or something in that 440, 450 type of a range, capturing a little bit of equity. And then if the market does rally, it can come up and execute on those trades. But we think from a call feature perspective, that might be an opportunity to build some equity going into the crop if you are for sure going to plant wheat. But even a straight hedge above $5, I don't think can hurt you.
Yeah, $5 is a pretty good price for wheat.
If you can pencil it out and sell the straw off of it as well. And I mean, I think the profitability definitely could be there. And then you look at what that dynamic looks at like next spring. I mean, no 2 years are the same, but I mean, there could be a chance for some double crop soys as well.
If we get
after the wheat, just depending on
if we
timing.
get it in here the first part of October, we're going to get a nice jump on that. So
definitely.
And the weather looks like it's going to cooperate with us, not get too cold here too fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good time to plant wheat.
Yeah, feels that way. From a corn and soybean dynamic, just quickly, we did have a updated stocks report from the government on Monday, where they did cut back our 300 million bushels on the corn old crop stocks, which was definitely bullish for the corn market, and the bean market had a bit of a bullish report in the same regard. So we've been up about 30 cents here in the last 3 trading days in soybeans and a solid dime to 15 cents in corn. So we do have another crop report on the 10th, so just about a week away from now, we'll get updated if the USDA decides to update the corn and soybean acre and yield numbers. So from a production perspective, we could see some changes there. that could affect the supply and demand table going into the new
crop out west
So-
looks huge.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
Yeah,
have you been hearing the same
We've
thing?
been hearing similar scenario. It's just the debate of what's going on here in the Eastern Corn Belt as to where the you still question where the how much prevent plant there
how
was
many
and how
acres.
many acres
Yeah.
there actually got planted versus how many acres are used for silage and harvested, and that whole acre dynamic I think is still one this year that's been as hot of a topic as any. So
It looks like the yields around that I've been seeing that's being taken off right now. It looks to be around trend line yields. So
Good.
nothing, no bin busters, but
Yep.
not the disaster that we were thinking that
Sure.
we're going to have. So.
Sure.
Since we are taking off some corn and beans now, if you're not going to apply or plant wheat, you might want to think about some residue management out there. We got some really good herbicides that we can put out in the fall right now that'll kill off all the winter annuals and get you started planting clean next spring. So while we're doing that, throwing a humic acid in like Ultramate LQ or ZN in with your herbicides, that's a really good piggyback, and it'll take care of that residue. 1 gallon of Ultramate LQ or Ultramate ZN with 3 gallon of 28 shows a great reduction in residue next spring. We do have some other products, Humic DG, if you're wanting to put it in with your dry fertilizer. Another option is Easy Cal at 2 gallon or Sweet and Easy at 4 pints. Anything that will promote microbial growth out there in the field to actually chew up and digest the stalks out there will actually save a lot of your maintenance on your equipment, and also put some of those nutrients that are tied up in the stalks back in the field for next crop. So it's a win-win out there, especially if you could piggyback it with some of your herbicide applications this fall.
Sure. Well, I think that's about all we've got for you here today. If you have any questions or want to touch base with us on any of our products that we offer, either from the grain side or from the agronomy side, give Dave or I a shout, or anyone on the grain or agronomy teams here at the Andersons. We'd be happy to work with you. So that's all we've got for you now. Any questions, let us know. Thank you.